Welcome to YouTube channel Ramesh Kaila. As we know that we discussed in this video BSc Nursing 5th SEM Educational Technology. In the education technology, the one of the most important short note and topic is the assessment. Today we will learn something about the assessment. Let us see the short note of assessment. First of all, the definition of assessment. Assessment is the systematic process of learning and development of student. In this process, it is one of the systematic process of the learning. In a simple way, we define the assessment. It is systematic process of the learning and development of the student. By which way? So we must have to write that the development of student in this process, defining any type of event, any type of object, any type of question. First of all, in the assessment, we must have to define it, then selecting, designing, collecting, analyzing, interpretation and evaluation is known as assessment. So here we have to keep in mind some words like first of all define, then you have to select it, then you have to make the design for the assessment, collect all data, you have to analyzing the data, interpret this data, and last one, evaluation. So all process, this systematic process is known as assessment. Assessment of student. Academic achievement is this process of evaluating whether the student are learning what we say they are learning in a end of any unit, in a end of year, in a end of 3, 6, 9 and 12 months. One can evaluate the student by the assessment, and we must have to remember that the student, which type of the academic achievement can learn student, and it is most useful by the assessment, by the evaluation. More specifically, assessment is systematic collection, review and use information to increase students' learning and development. Go ahead in a assessment that we must have to specify that the whatever the students review is there, the which type of the student has getting information, and which type of the information is increased, knowledge is increased in the student learning and development. This is the known as a assessment. There are the some objective and purpose of assessment. So we have seen some objective or purposes. Which are the objective of the assessment? Providing feedback that will be help them to improve. By the assessment, we have seen that the student, by the evaluation, student gain this type of the knowledge, student gain this type, improve this type of the information, and by feedback of the student, we help them. You go ahead now, you must have to increase the knowledge in this area. So providing feedback that will be help to improve, helping direct themselves toward their learning goal. If the student has learning goal, and teacher must have to helping them to direct toward the goal. motivating them to keep making progress. Teacher must have to motivate the student that it is your poor area, it is your strong area. You must have to improve your knowledge in this area by this way. So, if we motivate by the end of the assessment, student keep its progress. Gathering relevant information about them to support them in a way of specific to the learner. By the assessment, we gather all information regarding the student, which area is very strong, which area is poor, which area is improve for the student. So by the gathering the relevant information, the assessment is one of the most tool for the gathering relevant information. So these are the objective or purpose of the assessment. Now we just discuss the type of assessment. Which type of the assessment is there? First of all, diagnostic assessment means we have to diagnose anyone or any condition. The assessment, it is called the diagnosis assessment. Other is a formative assessment, then interim assessment, and then summative assessment. As we know that the diagnosis assessment, we assess by pre-assessment, we assess by pre-test. If we want to take admission in a best college, the college must be arrange some assessment before giving the admission. The student has have a knowledge or which type of the level of the knowledge is there. So that's called the pre-test. It is the diagnostic assessment. Then regarding the formative assessment, as we know, the formative assessment is, there are two types of the formative assessment. The formative assessment, it is conducting in a classroom. It is educational material. By the educational material, we organize some questionnaire, we organize some MCQs, and we get test of the student. That is called the formative assessment. Then interim. The interim assessment, as you know that the interim assessment is the assessment for the teacher. Teacher make the framework for the assessment, and by the framework teacher assess the student. That called common assessment framework test also. And last one is summative. Summative assessment, as we know that the summative assessment means total sum. Summative assessment is evaluation student by learning at the end of instruction. First of all, we take lecture, we give information, we plan for the lesson, and at the end of lesson or at the end of unit, once we take the evaluation, we take the test. It is called a summative assessment. Method of assessment: information, evidence, and data collection. So there are the three main part of the assessment method. First of all is information. We getting the information, we getting the evidence, and we get the data collection. It is the method of assessment. How to plan assessment? Assessment is a ongoing process for the assessing, for the understanding, and the improving student learning. It is not just one time process. It is continue process and ongoing process. All student assess every time. Assessment is made up of individual component distributed thought. Your course like assignment, quiz, exam, paper, and the way which those the component are evaluated. We can assess the student or we can assess any person by so many methods like assignment, quiz, exam, paper, interview. So many there are the so many type of the assessment is there. While grading can be one component of the assessment, nowadays we know that our government is also emphasize on the grading also, not emphasize on the percentage. Grade 1, grade A1, grade A2, like grading assessment. Grading is not the same thing assessment, and two are sometimes viewed to odd with one other. So sometimes what happen, the grading have the some range like 900 to 90 marks, grade A1. So student get the 90 mark, it is also including in the A1, and student get the 100 mark, it is also including the A1. So it is sometime odd view is that. Assessment plan are the design to organize this element to cohesive whole. It is the cohesive plan. Developing the assessment plan an integrated part of the course design to help ensure that the decision you make about the assessing student learning are purposeful. All assessment are always be purposeful, and if it is useful, then you assess the student. And the assessment is in course a useful tool for the learning. It is very useful tool in a learning process. If we teach the educational technology, then in the educational technology, the assessment is the important key factor of the subject. Element of the plan, as we know that the vision, our vision is there, our goal is there, our task, what is our task, our time frame, which time between we have finished our assessment time framing. So it is the elements of the plan: vision, goal, task, and time framing. Cycle of planning. As we know that the cycle of planning, first must have to do plan, then do it, put in practice, then teacher can check it, and last one, act, means give the result or evaluation. Though it is about the assessment, I think it is useful for you, and if it is useful for you, then please give the comment. If any query or any type of the mistake, thank you very much.